Oh, now that we're talking about Ewoks comic books, you guys decided to join again. Psh, whatever. EUR2 and I know who our real friends are, isn't that right? Darn tootin'. Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, today we're going to review the Ewoks comic books. And these are the ones from the old Marvel series based off the cartoon. Today I'm going to go over the first 10 issues. I'm going to give you a short synopsis about each one. They're written by Dave Manek, who also wrote Droids. And so, well, let's just go through with them. The first one is called The Rainbow Bridge, and in this one, Teebo and Wicket go on a mission to find a cure for Kanisha, who has stepped on a nightshade thorn. She is deathly ill, so they have to cross Rainbow Bridge. Issue number 2 is called Rites of Passages, and this one the Ewoks fight off a band of Zorbian space pirates. In issue 3, Fly the Dangorn, while on a wood harvesting mission, Kanisha and Teebo encounter quirks. And there are several different species on Endor as we find out. From, you look at the movies, from the cartoon especially, and from some of the books. There are several species that inhabit Endor. In the next issue, issue 4, Valley of Evil, Wicket and Teebo fight off lizard warriors. In issue 5, The Terrible Machine, aliens invade and harvest wood from Endor. And in issue 6, The Ice Demon, Wicket steals Logray's staff and plays around with it, but gets captured by Stagar, and Logray has to come to the rescue. Shame on Wicket for messing with magic or force magic or whatever it is. And as for the other issue where the aliens come to invade for Ewok, trees, wood, I guess it's just well known because everyone wants the trees, as you know, on the short story I told you about, Ewok Save the Trees, the Phalogs were trying to get the wood off Endor. So everyone wants that timber, baby. But anyway, in the next issue, issue number 7, is called The Perilous Laughing Spell. Teebo is attacked by a loony bird and he can't stop laughing. So Wicket and Kanisha have to take him to the Mount of Sorrows and have him drink from the tears to cure him. Now, my good friend Joe Bongiorno actually put a lot of these comic books in perspective in a short story he was going to write for StarWars.com, but unfortunately Disney took over and they put a kibosh on the story. Now, I've read the story that he wrote, and he's going to publish that soon enough, but in that he explains that in the cartoon and in the Ewoks comic book series, that something like this, we're seeing it from the Ewoks' eyes. So, you see a talking mountain that refuses to cry to save Teebo. What they see, that's what they see. What probably happened was, they couldn't find the tears, they couldn't find the river. It's like, and I explained this when I talked about the Ewoks cartoon series, what about a tribe? I think there is a tribe stuck on an island that we're not supposed to meet, we're not supposed to inhabit because they're apart from civilization, so if we went there we may bring them diseases. Anyway, there was a flyover and they took pictures of these tribal members looking at the airplane in the sky. What did they think that was? To them, it may have been a big giant bird. They didn't see a contraption that was built by mankind. They saw this maybe dragon or something. And how would you describe that to people? So when you read some of these comic books from the Ewoks, they may sound a little silly, but remember, it's from the eyes of the Ewoks, and it didn't actually happen that way, but from the Ewoks' point of view, this is how the story took place. Anyway, I digress. Let's get on to the comic book issues number 8, and this one is called Eyes of Kegon, where Morag resurrects the Kregon to destroy the Ewoks. Morag is a recurring character in the cartoon series, so of course they put her in the book to, give the Ewoks what for. Now, in issue 9, it's called The Underwater Kingdom. Teebo and Wicket help some underwater dwellers get back their red power pearl so it can save their people. Because if they don't have the power pearl back in the clam, then all is forsaken and lost. And, you know, it plays out like a regular cartoon series would. And finally, in issue 10, it's called The Demons of Endor. This basically continues the crossover issue that they had with droids, where, of course, R2-D2 and C-3PO are trying to get the prince back to the king. Now, when I reread this comic book for this study, I had a huge question like, wait a minute, how can the droids... I understand why they wanted to cross them over, right? There's a droids comic book series, there's an Ewoks comic book series. Maybe droids wasn't selling that good, so they crossed it over with Ewoks to, you know, sell more issues. I don't know. But I said, wait, isn't that a contradiction? That, you know, C-3PO and R2 have already been to Endor, and they met the Ewoks. How did they not remember that? Well, for R2-D2, who knows? He may have been to Endor before. He's a little brat. Like, you know, he kept the secret from Luke for years that he knew his father, you know, or grew up with him. So why should he tell anyone that he's been to Endor before? And C-3PO, we know, has been through multiple mind wipes. You know, in later stories, C-3PO can't remember how many mind wipes he's had. He's probably had a lot because there's a lot of adventures and a lot of things R2-D2 says that he doesn't remember. So that could be explained there why C-3PO doesn't recognize the Ewoks or the planet Endor. But I talked to my good friend Joe Bongiorno from StarWarsTimeline.net and I said, hey, is this a contradiction? Now this may sound silly because you're like, Matt, these are like comic books off of the cartoon series, no biggie, right? Yeah, but still, I want to say, does this all fit in continuity? And Joe offered a unique perspective that, again, he's going to put in this short story that he's going to publish hopefully this year. But in his idea of what was going on here, it makes perfect sense. He says, because here the Ewoks see these people fall from the sky, like gods come from the sky. They're droids. They've never seen them before. What is this shiny droid and his little companion? And then they have this adventure. They help them out, and then they ascend. You know, they go back in their spaceship and fly away. But to the Ewoks, they ascend back into the heavens. Well, to an Ewok, they must be a god, right? And so they remember C-3PO. C-3PO sticks with them a lot because in the comic book, of course, he talks to him because he's a translator, you know, droid, so we can assume he spoke their language. And they're thinking, wow, he's a god. So get this, in Return of the Jedi, when they see him for what now we know is the second time, they all go, wait a minute, that's that guy who fell from the sky. We helped him, and then he ascended back into the sky. Oh, you know, and they start bowing to him because they remember him from the crossover. Mind blown. I love that explanation. And like I said, Joe actually put that in his short story that was going to come out on StarWars.com, which again, he will publish on, I think on his website soon enough. But it is just a great example of what you see in Return of the Jedi and why they worship him. Now, also, I like to say that maybe R2 ruffled a little feathers during that crossover because, of course, they tie him up, and once he's loose, he starts zapping that Ewok, right? And I think that's funny. Maybe he has something against Wicked from the comic book. I didn't see anything that would indicate that, but that would be funny. Maybe if they had put in some kind of, you know, disagreement between them, and that's why he was tied up. But who cares? It was done for fun and for crossover purposes because Dave Manek was writing both series. He said, hey, let's combine the droids and Ewoks, and Lucasfilm's like, go for it. But I think that explanation about why C-3PO is recognized and realized as a god because of this adventure makes perfect sense. And that's just the expanded universe for you. It just keeps giving and giving more continuity. All right, folks, that is all the time I have for now. I'll see you next time with another video.